Hetepu, Assalamu alaikum, Namaste, Haroon Nefer. This is Qesankh Keperu with another exciting video for you. And in this video, I'm going to teach you how to define your reality. But before I do that, I want you to hit the like button on this video. And if this is your first time to my channel, hit the subscribe button to get notifications when I upload new videos and when I go live. If you want to know more about my spiritual teachings, you can scroll down below, click on one of the 4 ebooks, download those ebooks, start reading today. Again, they're free. However, if you want to take a step further and go down that rabbit hole, you can become a Patreon supporter for as little as $1, $5, or $20 per month. It is up to you. You can cancel at any time, and you will get instructional videos on the esoteric, on the spiritual, videos that will teach you how to contact the ancestors, how to contact spirits, how to invoke spirits for your protection, how to put together a magical amulet, how to do meditations, how to do proper breathing exercises to calm the animal spirit within you, that's Sahu, how to do self-hypnosis to get rid of negative habits such as overeating, or maybe you need to go to the gym, or maybe you need to quit smoking. Last but not least, if you are a Osir level supporter, you will get all your Oracle readings for free. So become a Patreon supporter today. Lastly, share this video with family and friends so we can get this revolution going. So, Hetepu. Sorry, connection issues there. I apologize. It's very difficult transmitting from here in Colombia. So hopefully we won't have much more interruptions, But I had a friend who didn't want to come with me, travel with me, because he's afraid of flying. Now, there are many ways you can deal with that issue. One way is you can watch YouTube videos on plane crashing, which is not going to help you. Okay. But I want you to understand a lot of people have phobias, a lot of people have fears, and you need to deal with those phobias and fears, because if you don't deal with them in this lifetime, they're going to come at you in the afterlife when you're in the duat. See, those things that you have within your subconscious mind, those fears, those hangups, those desires, you're supposed to deal with them. You're supposed to work them out. But we live in Okay, I think the transmission is not good. So I'm going to end this transmission, and then I'm going to try to go to a better place where I can get better. So before I do that, let me just show you Colombia. It looks beautiful here. Let me just see if I can unhook here. Maybe I'll get a better transmission outside. So let's see what we got here. Moving. It's a little warm out here. There you go. Can you all see that? It's beautiful. So what I wanted to say, and I'll say it right now, is basically it's not okay to submit to your fears, to your desires. You have to work those things out. And one of the ways that you can work those things out is to define your reality. You see, if you allow yourself to live by the culture of the dominant society, you're going to be subject to all those things that happen, whether good or bad. But if you're a type of person who walks through the world and you have defined, or in what we call NLP, is what neural linguistic programming is, a frame or a meta frame. If you have defined your reality, then, and if you're doing it right, then everything must conform to your reality in a sense. So, in other words, if I'm the type of person and I walk through the world and I say, you know, I'll never get in a plane crash. That's not part of my reality. Or I'll never get accosted. That's not part of my reality. Or I'll never meet mean spirited people. That's not part of my reality. If you are saying those affirmations, now remember, it's not just good enough to just say them. You have to take them into trance. You have to meditate upon them, get in an alternate state of consciousness, and impregnate the spirit with those commands. Then, as part of the understanding that you are a reality generating machine, you will create that reality for yourself. I never meet negative people. All my friends are very positive. Now, you'll note that I was saying things in a very negative sense, which actually affirms those negativities. That's what you don't want to do. In other words, instead of saying I never meet negative friends uh, or like angry people or things of that nature, you have to reframe that by saying I always meet very friendly people. I always get into good relationships. I come into money easily. When you are saying those affirmations, you are thus defining your reality and creating what we call as the meta frame, not the frame, because the frame is the child of the parent, which is the meta frame. So you are creating your world, your existence. And if you impregnate the spirit correctly, then your life will be in abundance. In other words, you won't have the issues of common people saying, "Oh, I'm always, I had a bad day," or always meet negative people. And if you're saying, "I have great days every day. When I wake up, it's a great day. When I work out, I feel my muscles getting stronger. When I jog, I feel my lungs getting stronger, or they are stronger." So when you affirm those things in trance, it creates that reality for you, because it has the universe has no choice but to mirror back to you what is your most dominant belief system. And if your most dominant belief system are the affirmations that you're reciting while in trance, then that's going to reflect back to you. You understand? Some people may say, "Well, I have no tickets to travel to different countries in the world." If you affirm to yourself, "I always travel, I always have the means to travel to different countries," then that's going to be a reality in some way, shape, or form. It's going to manifest, whether it be by a multimillionaire gifting you tickets around the world to every major country or what have you. You don't have to think about how it needs to be done, because the subconscious mind, the spirit within you, will work that out. You just have to think about the end result and say it as affirmation. I always meet handsome guys who propose to me. Oh, I always meet beautiful women. My life is abundant with beautiful women. If you say these affirmations in the right state, then they will be. That's all you need to understand. The problem is we're focusing on a negative and we're repeating a negative to ourselves because we may have had one or two experiences that were negative, and then we believe that that's just our lot in life and that's what we're going to experience. No, no. Don't fall into that trap. This is why I tell people, watch what you say, watch what you think, because the more and more you think that way, you see, if I say, for example, you know, golly, every time I get a job, I get a really asshole boss, right? Because you may have had two experiences like that. Now, saying that once or twice is not enough to manifest that. But if you keep thinking it or saying it mentally, and if you visualize it, that is that is putting you into an alternate state of consciousness where you're then commanding the spirit to manifest a negative boss with every job you get. That's problematic. Be careful. See, this corrupt society, Western society, has permeated every aspect or part of the world, where we're not taught the power within us, where we're not taught that what we think, if we repeatedly think it and visualize it, take it to trance, it's going to manifest, because they don't want you to have that power. They don't want you to know about that. People say, well, I've said this over and over again and never manifested. But what state did you achieve in trance is the key. And did you emotionally empower those words, that visualization? That's the key. Because many times you are saying the negative thing over and over again, and you emotionally empowering it with fear. That's why it manifests. So you have to be very careful, because you have to realize how powerful you are as God man, God woman. You're a reality generating machine. You're going to generate some type of reality. So why not make it the best reality possible by defining your reality and saying consistently that when I ride when I ride my motorcycle, my new motorcycle, I never, like, I'm always safe. When I travel by air, I'm always safe and reach my destination. But if you're talking about, like, well, I don't like to, like, my mother had a fear of driving in cars, and I'm like, well, if you keep up with that fear and you jump in a car, your first experience may be one of a car accident. And that's because you manifested it. You know what I mean? Or I'm afraid that if I go out, then something negative will happen to me. I'll get mugged or something. Well, if you keep thinking that, because most of the times when we're reflecting upon something negative, we go into a trance state. And if you keep thinking that and go into that trance state, you're asking for it. You're literally asking for it. If you're studying at university, you say, I'm always a good test taker. I always pass my tests. I always pass my courses. I always do well at work. I always get merit increases. I always get promoted. And you feel it and you visualize it. You're working juju, voodoo. You're working magic. You understand? Now, there's some things that, you're going to have to experience that's part of your collective agreement. When bad weather strikes, that's part of a collective agreement. When an earthquake happens, that's part of a collective agreement, meaning that we all band together and agree that there are certain things that we will experience in this space-time continuum. So there's no way of avoiding that. That's just part of that collective experience. But you don't have to have a negative attitude about it. You can reframe it by saying, although this may have happened, I always experience benefits from things like this. And then something wonderful will happen to you. So I hope this all makes sense, because too many of us define our reality by the dominant culture. You see, we watch TV, listen to the media, go on the internet, and the sum of all of that creates a de facto culture, a residue which we accept, and because it's shared by many others, it becomes powerful, and we experience that. Then all of a sudden you have haters, then all of a sudden you have friends who don't like you. Well, that's because you have succumbed to the belief system that has been perpetrated or perpetuated by mass media. But you have to learn to reject that, go dark on that. You know what I mean? You have to say to yourself, well, you have to sit back and think, what is the reality I want to experience? And write that down. And then say it and meditate upon it. And stick with it and make it part of who you are. That's just, people will say things like, well, they talk about, well, you can't go down. It's too early to get breakfast. And I said, well, when I go down, I always get breakfast. And they said, well, what makes you so special? That's just how I roll. You know what I mean? So, well, it's hard to catch a cab, we may have to wait. I said, no, I'll get a cab. I always get a cab. That's just how I roll. So when you start doing that, not only are you going to generate that reality, but you're exercising your manifestation muscles because they do need to be worked because they've been lying dormant. You haven't used them because the society tells you it's not possible to change the reality. So when you first start doing it, you're not going to see much of a result. But as that snowball falls down the hill and gets bigger and bigger and bigger, so too the power of your manifestation. So keep keep it up. So don't stop and reject the dominant culture because the dominant culture is corrupt and limiting, very very limiting. So thank you. And if you have any questions, always put it down in the description box there or the comment box, and I'll get back to you. I love your questions. Anyway, I hope that this transmission came through okay. So again, thank you. This is Qesankh Ma'at Keperu, son of Ma'at and Tudi. Ma'at is the beautiful goddess Heteru. Until my next broadcast, I'm Nara.